Hey guys, welcome to another review. I'm Mr. P, and today what I'm going to be doing is a kind of review and a sort of show and tell situation, if you like. So what I'm doing today are these. Now these come to me courtesy of Spain Cigar. Okay, Mario sent me a big box and he included a load of these. And what these are pre-made microcoils to a specific resistance. Which enables those of you who aren't necessarily as savvy with the coils or haven't got the time to sit there and perfect the art of making coils, because it is an art in my opinion, or for some reason can't do it, you know, whatever it may be physical, you know, disability or whatever it is. So, you know, let's face it, for those of us that are just lazy as well, but they are there, and that's what I'm going to do today. So a little bit of information about these first of all. Now these are available in several resistances and in different materials. So what I have here is a couple of packs of pre-made 0.8 ohm micros in nichrome. Now these are €1.50 for 10, so it works out 15 cents or about 12 or 13p per coil in nichrome. You get 10 for your €1.50, as I say, and they're made to a 0.8 ohm. It doesn't actually specify the gauge of wire for these nichrome ones. I'm not going to lie to you, and I do say this in a close-up because Mr. P's sneaking, he's already done it. I don't use nichrome. I will possibly find a use for these, but I've tried nichrome and decided that it's not a wire that I like. So these are what interest me, which are the candle versions. Now these, much the same for a pack of 10, but these are €2.50, so they're another euro on top for 10, so each coil is costing you 10 cents or about 10 pence more. But you know, candle is a more expensive wire, so we kind of expect that, let's be honest. Now these do have more information on them, and I didn't really read it when I went into the close-up, so I'll give you the information now and I'll rehash it when I come back up, because the close-up's been done already. But basically, like I say, 10 for €2.50. These are available in 0.3, 0.5 and 0.8 resistances. So, you know, really, like if you want to 0.3, and you could be dual coiling that to make you a 0.15, do like that. They're all made using 24 gauge or 0.5 candle, which I didn't spec down when we were down low. Now the 0.8 ohm do specify that they were made round a 2.8mm bit, which, you know, I said in the close-up about 3mm. The 0.3 definitely were not. They made round a narrower bit. In fact, whilst I'm here, I will try and test that, because I haven't this far, and I didn't in the close-up because I was being sloppy and basically didn't use the 0.3s in the close-up. So what I'll do is I'll open this other bag, just there, and see whether these are made around a 2mm bit. They are not, but it's close. Maybe a 1.8mm bit for the 0.3s. So they're, depending on what resistance you've got, they're going to vary. Depending on, you know, the coil size is going to vary depending on what resistance you specify. But I will cover some of this in a close-up, and again I'll rehash it and come back up to me. I'm more interested in finding out how these vape compared to one of my coils that I would wrap, to be perfectly honest with you. I find that pre-built coils I've tried before haven't lived up to my expectations in terms of flavour. They're always a little bit funky. So I'm going to give these a go, and yep, then come back up to me and we'll have a vape and we'll have a chat about it, let you know whether they are living up to their money. Right guys, a little close-up of some more goodies from Spain Cigar. This is their pre-built coils. This, to be honest, they sent this through. This is a few rolls of canthal. This is what we've got here. Gives you the specs there. It's a 0.35 27 gauge, you know, 0.5, and then 0.4. There we go, canthal. Now obviously, you know, I can't really test wire, but I can tell you that it is exactly what it should be, and it does exactly what it should do. So this is more what I'm interested in, if I'm perfectly honest with you. Now let me just separate these off so we know what we're dealing with. Right, and they go there too. Right, so what we've got here is 2 packs, 2 packs, 3 packs and 1 pack. Now these are pre-built. I just want to show you how good these are. In fact, it'll be easier if I zoom you in, you'll get less glare. In fact, I'm going to go right in. So that's how their pre-built coils come. These are actually 0.3 ohms. and as soon as I'm dual coiling today, I don't fancy going down to 0.15 today. I would, but just not in the dripper that I plan on using. So 0.3 ohms, but you can trust me, I've had a go of them, and you know, they are what they're supposed to be, and they are spot on. These ones here, these are Canthal as well, same as the last ones, and these are 0.5 ohms, diameter of about 2.5 millimeters. Now, these are a definite worth thinking about situation, because, in fact, let me just check something. They are the same. Yes, they are. These are, you know, if you like your sort of 0.5 builds, or you sort of 0.25, you dual core with them. If you look at the quality of them, they're spot on. Every bloody one of them, spot on. So very impressive. And then these are 0.8 ohm Canthal. Okay, now these are considerably chunkier. Now I don't know what gauge wire these are using, but it's definitely a thick gauge. Not super thick, but you know, thick enough. These are 0.8 ohm, like I say. 2 packs of those there. These are the nichrome ones. Now these are 0.8 also, but they're a thinner diameter, 2 mil. These ones. Whereas you can see, these are much thicker, these Canthal ones. I'm actually not a fan of nichrome, so I haven't used them, and I don't intend on necessarily using them. So I may find a use for these, but at the minute it's not going to be in my rebuildables, because I find that I don't like nichrome, if I'm perfectly honest. So these are 0.8. I've actually got this as well. This is a Niobe wire from them. I'm going to do a little review on this separately, but that is what it is. So what I'm focusing on today are these, which are the 0.8 ohm Canthal microcoils from Spain Cigar. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to dual coil the toe very quickly with them, just to see how it goes. So what I'm going to do is grab 2 of them out, just like so, and then I'm going to grab an Atty and we're going to give it a bash. So, like I say, toe on the fortune today. So what I plan on doing is, let me just loosen this off here, and here, and here. This is actually a different tobe to the one I reviewed before. This is one that Spain Cigar sent me, so I will do a little review of this as well, if you're interested. Now, first things first, finding the width, the diameter of these coils isn't necessarily as easy as you'd like it to be, and having something that matches that diameter as well, you know. Let me just grab me 2 mil bits. This is a 2 mil bit. You know, so I would say these are macro 3 mil coils, but there ain't nothing wrong with that. So first things first, I think what we'll do is we'll start this side like so. I'm working in complete reverse here, guys, so just bear that in mind for me. And we're going to plonk that coil in there. Fairly easy stuff, to be honest. So coil's gone straight in. We'll finish up and tie it all up in a minute. Just bear in mind, if you are going to use a tobe or a like, then, you know, make sure that your coils are in the relevant spots. And now back around onto this side, through your negative, and then punch it through your positive, which is done fairly simply. Now I like to grab this just because I know it's not the same size, but it does help you push it in close. And the same on this side, helps me push that in close. Bend the leg up of each one, like so, like that. Okay, and then the same on this side from the previous coil. Bend the leg up. Now really you're just checking for the location of the coil, making sure everything is where it should be. If you feel it is, like so, what I tend to do is just screw your negative down. Most of us who use you know, the dual core drippers will be doing this anyway. Let me grab this little flat one, see if I have any more. No, it looks like we're tight in there. And then flip it round. Do the opposite one. Give it in. Give it a good old screw. Make sure we're nice and tight. So, I mean, they're not moved. This is definitely a strong wire that these are made from. I'm not happy with where that one is, so I'm going to bring that one in whilst I screw the positive down. Give that a good old screw, like so. Now I'm just going to check for wiggle. Not much going on there. Not much going on there. Now, because of the length of the legs in these, I haven't got much to grab and twist and spin and so on. But I do find that with RDAs in particular, if I don't twist and spin and get a perfect break, they just don't hit as well for me. No, I'm not sure. Not necessarily don't hit as well, but I get a funny taste sometimes. So in fact that coil's wobbling slightly, so get that tighter. Might have come undone very fractionally, and give that a little wiggle there. And then the same obviously with the negatives. I'm using these pliers purely because they're there for me to use, and that's what I intend on doing. So give that a wiggle. Just makes my life easy, guys. Anything that makes your life easier is a winner. Obviously once you've got everything twisted, if you're used to doing that, then make sure everything's tight. I mean, I've just tightened that a good 2 turns more since doing that. So that's kind of what we're going with now. I'm slanting them upwards and I haven't got a problem with that being the case. I will, however, make sure they both look the same, pull them away. In fact, I will level them out a bit, and then let's fire them. So obviously the standard kind of, when you've been ripping your coils around, sort of negative glow to start with, but let's give it a pinch either side. Let's see what the result is. We've definitely got one lighting sooner than the other. I think I may know why. Let me just bring that up. Pinch. Pinch. There you go. What can you say about that? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to revert back to standard cotton in this build, just purely because it's the cotton that I know the best, and I'm most familiar with it. I want to, test to see what they taste like. That's my main problem with all pre-built coils that I've tried up to this date, is that they don't taste the same as mine, so it kind of makes it pointless for me. So what I'm going to do is just standard cotton wicks, give them a twist like so. We use this one now, one in, put it through, give it a twist. Because they are big coils, just be used to giving yourself more cotton at the tail end to work with. Some of us kind of go, yep, that's about right, and it's not in this case, because the coils are that much bigger. In fact, I've gone a bit too mad on here and I've got a lump of cotton just there that needs to be removed. So let's start again with this one. Little hook there, and put it through just as soon as we do. That's about right. So just grab me scissors from the little UD kit and cut the fronts, cut the back like so. And like we've done this before, just tuck it in. I do try and make it so that the wicks connect when doing dual coils, so I kind of poke it through from the front here through here, so then when I flap the back of this one over, they will be touching. Therefore, you have like sort of almost one unanimous wick as opposed to 2 independent one. So tuck that down there, stick that through here like so, and then the same on the back side. Tuck it down, and what I'm then going to do is prime up with some of Cosmic Fog's Milk and Honey. That's what I'm going with today. So I'll do a review of it. In fact, I may even do it on this build if the can for I've defined to be delivering the right flavour and so on. But this is just purely to demonstrate to me how they're working and how well they're doing. So most of us will be familiar with the priming process at this stage, but I always do it on camera just so, well, it's there really. And then all we want to do, grab a drip tip, chuck it in the top of the tube, and give her a little test fire. Yep, both producing like they should. So obviously what we're going to do now, line up our air holes like so. Bang that top cap in. Told you it's a different type, didn't I? Black one. And then come back up to me and we'll have a little vape on these bad boys and see how they go. Right guys, welcome back up to me. So, pre-built coils, that's what we're on. Now when I was, Mario said to me I'm going to chuck them in as well, I was kind of thinking, okay sweet, I'll give them a go. But I never have held out high hopes for pre-built coils, because whenever I've tried them they've not been that good, if I'm honest with you. But give them a go. Like I say, but the price varies on these. You know, 250 for the Canthal, Nichrome ones at 150. Like I say, I'm really not a Nichrome fan. I find it gives a very funny taste for a long time. It does eventually fade, but by then I'm not willing to vape it for as long as it takes to get rid of that taste for me. But they are cheaper, so there you go. Not as many options in the Nichrome version, just the 0.8, whereas in the Canthal you've got the 0.8 ohm, the 0.5 and the 0.3. These 0.8s, internal diameter of 2.8mm, I do like that. That is stated. Unfortunately, it's not stated for the 0.5s and the 0.3s, and the 0.3s are substantially thinner. I would say somewhere in the region of 1.8mm, maybe even 1.5mm internal diameter for that coil, which, you know, isn't necessarily a good thing. Depending on what build you're doing, you may need a thicker wick. But I have used them and they worked fine, no problem whatsoever. So in the tobe is what I've got these in, dual coil, because I want it to go sort of lowish. So we're should be 0.4 ohms. There's not really a review per se I can do of these. I can just kind of make you aware of them if you like, that's what I'm doing basically. So I mean, I do want to say I have changed juice from the milk and honey. I just found it wasn't quite strong enough for me. I wanted a bit of a real kick, so this is now 12mg and it won't take a lot to kick my arse. But I have used these for a good few hours now, and this isn't the first time I've used this. In fact, I will say the resistance for me very fractionally off. Whenever I've inserted them into an atomizer, they've been 0.7. Now this isn't a problem because they will raise and they will end up being 0.8, and chances are they are 0.8 before the legs are cut. But once they're inserted, I find they drop to 0.7 and then raise back up to 0.8 after a bit of bedding in. Now if they were 0.8 when they were inserted, they would raise to 0.9. There or thereabouts. There's always fluctuations. So, you know, 0.35 to 0.4 building here, but it won't be any more. I found them to be consistently the same resistance every time, which is what you want. Made using 0.5 Canthal. Now, those of you that have tried 0.5 Canthal, if you've tried really thick like 0.8 or 1 Canthal, then you'll appreciate, you know, 0.5 becomes nothing to you. But when you're moving up from, you know, 32 gauge or 28 gauge, you get 0.5 and you are like, my dear Christ, that is a coat hanger wire. And it isn't easy to work with for a lot of people, so having this option is valid and good. Let's face it, I want to know if they're any good. They're pre-book calls made with Canthal, and to be honest with you, I found them to be spot on, to be honest. Each and every time the same resistance, which is what you're after. They're easy as pie to insert, they really are. They sort themselves out. All you've got to do is chuck it in and stick wick in it. Short of having the wick pre-installed, there's not much more that they could do to make this any easier for you. 10 coils for €2.50, which works out to be about £2, so about 20p a coil. There are other coils available. I have to just find my little chart that I found earlier, which is always running away from me, to be honest with you. I have no idea where it is. There are also, I did show the Canthal, they do sell Canthal on there, which I find is quite cheap, 10 metre spools for about £2, all the way up to 0.65, which is a 5 metre spool, which works out to be about £1. So it is very cheap if you're going on there for your rebuildable supplies, you know, your Nakamichi cotton and your BioWick, and obviously your pre-book coils if that's what you want it to do. It does work out to be quite a nice price for that. But these 20p a coil, it's not the wire you're paying for, really. It's the time and effort it takes. Now these are done by machine. There's no way these aren't done by machine because they're too perfect. Each and every one is exactly the same. Which is, it doesn't matter if it's done by machine or not, but you know, that's what you're paying for, the time that's taken for that to happen, and the machine in itself. You know, wire's fairly cheap, but it would be good to have them in a drawer or whatever. You know, I'm happy I've got some, because for them days where you just can't be asked, they're there. Or for, you know, we all have them bad build days, and that for me is what these will be used for, them bad build days when, you know, nothing goes right, and we've all had them. it'll be a quick and easy solution to that problem. Just get me vaping and get me out of the slump, you know. But other people, like I mentioned before, you know, it could be several reasons as to why people can't, you know, wrap their own coils. Whether they just can't get on board with it, they can't get on with it. Whether there's a physical reason as to why that can't be done is another one, you know. Or if people don't want to risk going into that sub-ohm and they want it done for them, it's there, and obviously some of those that are lazy, but they are there and they perform like they should perform. If I'd have wrapped this coil around the same diameter bit, you know, it would be performing exactly the same, and that's what I like to see, because for once something pre-built that's meant to make your life easier, to me doesn't feel like I'm sacrificing something for that to happen. Whenever I've tried pre-builts before, that has felt like I've been sacrificing something, usually flavour, to accomplish that, whereas in this circumstance this juice tastes just as good on this as if I'd have built it from scratch by myself. So again, more of a just show and tell and letting you know they're available if you wanted to use them. I can't really review them, but I can let you know that they are spot on and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, and they taste how they're supposed to taste, which is more important. So yeah, obviously big thank you to the guys at Spain Cigar, and Maridson is down to me. The website address will be down there if you want to click the link and check it out. It will also be up here somewhere. I don't know, it's up here for you to go over and check it out. There's loads and loads and loads of stuff, and as I said before, the service was spectacular. Big thank you to those guys, big thank you to you guys for watching. Other than that, pretty much done. So yep, cheers for watching guys. I've been Mr. P, and I shall see you soon.